the most amazing games of 2023 in looks and concept. In fact, before release, Square Enix promised to make the most visually advanced open world game for years to come, which honestly didn't really disappoint either. But to be fair, for those of you who are spending money, and I didn't think this was actually possible up until a month ago, if cringe, the word, could be art, or rather a video game, Forspoken is just that perfect in describing the word itself. And to make it quick, it's just accompanied by the most lifeless idea in game world. Get a refund if you haven't played it already. Watch Kardashians, it's actually more fun if you ask me. Coming up behind that, really quick mention over here, just talking about this makes me a bit depressed for the money spent on this one. Wild Hearts is at the moment Quake Tecmo's biggest fail of all time, and the game is in fact getting more buggy as we're talking as opposed to getting better. Bad game, terrible replay, zero development quality. Moving on.
Thread that binds us all.
Vampires, cultists, psychic phenomena. Never seen anything like it.
This is not the Redfall I remember.
Arcane Austin's Redfall, on the other hand, was in history one of the perhaps the biggest Microsoft exclusive fail that ever existed, I think. That game upon release up until to this very day is packed to the brim with bugs, and the AI was just smart enough for a 7-year-old to get involved with it. Unfortunately, it doesn't even stop there. The world itself is dull, the weapons, vampires, and ultimately the game had a terrible combat and gameplay. 0 out of 10 in my opinion, dodge any way you can.
Second rule of Crime Boss is, if we lose the boss or he gets cuffed,
it's game over, man.
For the moment.
Crime Boss Rocky City was, for the past 6 months perhaps, one of the most anticipated games that was gonna hit the market, which was mainly because of the trailers that folks came up with, that easily took the cake out of any show. However, this adventure first-person shooter was a terrible attempt, we believe, at something as fun as Payday series, that went on and failed in many departments, whether it was the combat, the missions, characters, their dialogues, or just overall replay. Crime Boss was in fact one of the biggest wastes of budgets for publishers 505 Interactive.
The people sometimes.
Or Baker is crowned king.
There's only room for one crime boss around here.
Seventh rule. We learn from our wins and our losses.
We're gonna take some losses.
Each round, we grow stronger.
Everybody loves an underdog story, right?
And the final rule in Rocky. If you rumble here, sooner or later, you will face off against
the baddest ass kicker on the planet.
Very effective answer. Which one do you think we should apply?
On second hands, Deadlick Entertainment, to this day, I think had never failed to make a good game. But when Lord of the Rings Golem was released, these folks managed to have gathered all the fails in every single game they made that have miraculously dodged to make and put it all of it together at once in a single game, with Lord of the Rings Golem. Hell, this game was supposed to be a stealth-based, super cinematic adventure or open world, but turned out to be a comedy drama. Ridiculously awful game, minus 10 out of 10. I could probably make a better game if I tried.
Strike team attacked Dower Synthetics at 2100 hours. They busted in, barricaded inside, and turned off the grid.
How many?
Too many.
Gear up.
Number 6, we've got here Wanted Dead, one of the most anticipated hack and slashes of 2023 and one of the worst games I played in 2023 too. It's actually better not to get into detail with this one, because no matter what way we try to find a way to get inside the game, so I could make your entry point a little bit sweet for you, even if I tried, and I'm actually good at that if I wanted to, but had the folks polished the game about 20 times more than how it is right now, yes, I would say it's worth a play. For sure.
City administration is practically Dower Synthetics now. You fuck with the wrong people, and I don't have the time to fuck with you motherfuckers.
Party is over.
This is not like the last time. I have powerful friends now, bitch.
Detective, what a pleasant surprise. There'll be a lot to discuss.
Looking forward to it.
Life is complicated.
I kind of wish to rewind to the place where everything went wrong.
With Lo?
With everything.
A bunch of synthetics about to start a riot. You're the mobile riot police unit. Start acting like one.
Light him up.
They might look human. They might act human. They're not. You don't have to do this.
Do I need to explain how you get paid at the end of each month?
What makes the difference between a story and a legend? Is it the cruelty of its villains, or the bravery of its heroes?
Awarded as the most repetitive and shortest game of 2023, number 7 we have Minecraft Legends. First of all, game's overpriced as International Space Station, and it offers about 2 hours of gameplay if you decide to take your time with it. I mean, don't even bother with the PvP matches you probably come to take advantage of after beating the game in less than an hour, cause that field is even more boring than waiting for the event to heat up. This game is the action strategy, for the record, made by Mojang itself.
Of time. After the details have faded into dreams, what will we remember? Ultimately, it's the tales that capture our hearts and give us reason to hope. When the bravery of the world is greater than the forces of evil combined, that is when legends are born.
Coming from the same old folks behind the amazing game Generation Zero. Number 8 we have Ravenbound, a open world roguelike Scandinavian based action RPG, and probably the prime example of how not to make either a open world or a roguelike action RPG, so to speak. Just picture everything that's amazing and satisfying about the game Elden Ring, take all of that away and you're left with a waste of time. Exactly. Ravenbound's a waste of time, and the game is the best in delivering that 100 times better than any time you've ever spent doing anything. Ever.
But I am willing to risk everything to find out.
Moving on to number 9, it's the probably one game I still have hopes for, since it still offers a very good sense of style and some really nice puzzles and platforming. I mean, I'm a Metroidvania fanatic and I easily fall for just a little bit of effort. If you're into what you see here in the trailer, just bear in mind that this game has quite the poor gameplay mechanics, delayed performance, and you will not enjoy the way it feels no matter how hard you try.
Corners of this place.
This misfortune was not one that I savored here. I had grown accustomed to my prison. Do you, Benedict? Failure is the first teacher of champions.
The great stone monuments, surging along the dazzling waterways and tearing up the town with friendly competition. You're on fire, hotshot!
Number 10, it's a sandbox semi-open world Lego racing game, and even though I'm not a fan of the Lego series, but I've done my best to be fair with this one, guys, I have to say it's an even more bland game in feel than Forspoken. Not that terrible. If you like to build your own vehicles, rather a fan of customizing, Lego Took a Drive still offers a decent one in that department, and you can actually spend a few days having fun with that. Other than that, it's a pass.
Come on, hotshot, let's get back out there and show the world what you can really do.
The business opportunities for me are immense. Both sides have already bid on our services.
Next up, it's from the same old developers of Slender the Arrival, the horror game, or the other one, Valley. It's a first-person shooter this time around, in fact a multiplayer first-person shooter with large-scale battles, and surprisingly, not a free game. So yeah, for a multiplayer game, Leap is like just a tuned, or rather bottom-down version of Apex, with clunky mechanics, no replay whatsoever, and one of the worst online servers there is in industry. If you saw this game's trailer and thought, you know what, maybe you should give it a try, well, just don't. Do not. Don't do it.
Lunatics and conspiracy theorists claim to have seen a UFO. The minority tries to convince other people that the small green aliens are real.
They're lying.
The government.
That is not a weather balloon.
One of the most anticipated horror, or rather thrilling, adventure games we had high hopes since a half a year ago. Grey Hill Incident is, in my opinion, coming right behind The Lord of the Rings Golem, with the second most horrible game released this year. I mean, in its current state, however. See, the game offers one hell of an atmosphere, but as far as a glimpse of just game logic, story, or just somewhere to go or do something, you'll have to leave it all to chance, because there is no sense of accomplishing anything in this game. It's a 2 out of 10, you don't know what you're doing in this game, don't give it a shot. It needs much more work just to begin with, sense of navigation or something.
Some kind of metal, baby.
Who are you? In which part?
God, I hope they didn't start drilling into his teeth.
Rachel!
Good luck, Ryan.
So how does it feel holding a big long stick in your hand? Pretty good, huh?
Hey, can we just cool it with a creepy sexual innuendo?
Okay, good. Now, jerk it around a bit. Give it a good old jerk.
And last but not least, one last note, we have The Last Worker. It's a first-person adventure, almost shooter that can be played in VR or not, centered around the lone worker's last stand in an increasingly automated world. Does that even make sense? Anyway, I actually had this game on my wishlist for months before release because of the amazing trailers, and the narrative I thought would be something, to say the least. Came to realize it's kind of like the exact opposite. The gameplay has no story, it does, but it doesn't. Lots of bugs, and the mini-games, each one, give you a different kind of cancer. Each. Do yourself a favor, play Solitaire Online, it has more stories. This hurt.
Kids! I need help! Help!
Hang in there, guys.
Let's glove up.
You won the best prize there is. You get to keep your job. Now dance.
Remember when you called me irrelevant, eh? Who's irrelevant now? You couldn't have done it without me, could you?